See if what happens. Hey, what's up, guys? I know you probably have seen that I've kind of disappeared in the last few days. Let me take the glasses off, see if this is working. Not sure if I can even get this rolling, but we do have some somewhat breaking news. I'm a little bit late because of the internet situation here. I'm at the Kabul airport in Afghanistan. So just wanted to log in and see if this is working, first of all. But the breaking news on Earl Thomas, as you guys know, the last 24 hours has got, actually, about the last 12 hours has got really bad. This has created a bunch of new situations in the last about 6 hours. My internet here in Kabul is not working so great, so I actually uploaded a video about 4 hours ago, and it's still uploading. So what I want to do is I was trying to go live on my computer and see if we can jump in and get this update done. This is actually a scenario. This is kind of from Seattle's perspective. This is a Seattle kind of based news channel, and we need to look at their perspective and see what they're looking at and see if they are looking at it different than us Cowboy fans or different than the rest of the world. And they are. You can see Seattle has.
Right. All I ask, though, is that if that's the case and they don't want me anymore, just please trade me to an organization that does. David, how should the Seahawks proceed with Earl Thomas?
Okay, guys, I know that this is a little bit of an old post, but this is new news coming from Seattle. The post is a little old. It's Earl Thomas stating, hey, if you guys don't want me, let me go to a team that wants me, and those kind of things. We've been hearing that for the last 24 hours. Actually, we've been here for the last couple months. As you guys know, Earl Thomas put out that extensive letter on the players' blog. It went out to all the players, all the executives, and all of that. Kind of him posting, hey, Seattle is not working for me. This is, I either want the new contract or I want to move on. The thing is, these things he's saying, these things he's putting out are building a wall between him and Seattle. And the thing is, if you watch the Seattle-based stations, these Seattle-based stations, they think he's making mistakes. He's not making mistakes. What he's doing is he's separating himself from Seattle. Seattle's on the decline. They're rebuilding. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be part of it. He knows he can come to Dallas, come into a young defense. He can be a leader. He can help. And we are on the verge of building some Super Bowl type process here. I mean, that's where we are. We're moving that direction. So if Earl Thomas, if you watch this Seattle-based channel, what's up, boss? Let me give some shout-outs real quick. Hey, what's up, Buddy Johnson? Yes, I hope so, brother. I hope he's coming. I hope he's coming to Dallas as well. I'm from Houston, but I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fan. What's up, Hulk? Oh, Hulk in the house. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Hey, what's up, Jay Bakes? Subscribe to the channels, guys, if you haven't before. I want to move forward with this video. I'm glad the live is working. I've been trying to post videos all this week. I'm at the Kabul airport now. I have 5 airports I'm in charge of in Afghanistan. Also, I have like 15 military bases that I take care of. As far as the fuel goes, it's a big job. It keeps me busy, but sometimes I need to come to the airports. And when I come to the airports, things are a little different. I need to get the Wi-Fi going again, get things going. So let me move forward with this video. But this video, if you guys just joined in, it's a perspective from a Seattle-based. These guys are kind of all Seattle-based news guys. So let me move forward. What they're stating is he's making big mistakes, as in Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas is making big mistakes, stating all of these things. It's hurting his contract future. It's hurting his player personnel type future, but it's not. He's wanting to separate from a team that's going in the wrong direction. He wants to separate. He wants them to push away, and what he's looking for the Cowboys to come pick him up. That's obvious. That was obvious when he went to the locker room and did what he did. So let me move forward with the video, guys, before I
Well, you have to look at it in two ways, and we'll start off with
Like,
the
again,
Seahawks
this is
organization.
Seattle-based news.
When they rewarded him in 2015 with the 4-year extension for $40 million, that was ahead of the market grade. When you sign that early, you know the salary cap's going to go up. You know people at your position are going to go up. So you know that there's going to be change in the market, and you're not going to be getting paid as much as everybody else. Also, look at the rebuilding of the Seattle Seahawks. There's no more Legion of Boom anymore. There's no more Michael Bennett. Right now, you're looking at a leader in Russell Wilson on one side and Bobby Wagner on the other side.
This Seattle-based news stating these things. I mean, these guys are all pulling for the Seattle side.
And you think about what they're trying to do in changing the culture. So they continue to grow. They're continuing to move different parts around. And when it comes down to it, we know that they're not a better football team without Earl Thomas on the football field. We know that when...
All right, guys. Got to pause it real quick. As you guys know, any team that picks up Earl Thomas is going to improve. Any team that now they may only improve for the year or two, because if he asks for too much salary and the wrong team awards him that money, then they're going to hurt their future. And that's what the Cowboys got to look at. We got to look at how long will Earl Thomas help us? How much money does he want? What do we have to give up for a trade value? And those kind of type things are what the Cowboys are looking at. The thing is, the Cowboys know that he wants to be in Dallas. Seattle knows that. That's what the big lock is. Everyone knows where he wants to go. Everyone knows the money he wants. So why not make it happen? The reason it's not happening is the Cowboys can't do it and lose too much. But think about this. If we don't make this move and we make it to the playoffs and lose in the first round, or make it to the playoffs and lose in the championship game, and we don't have Earl Thomas, everyone will say, if we would have got Earl Thomas, we would have went to the next game. We would have went to the Super Bowl. We could have won the Super Bowl. These are the reasons that we need to make this happen, no matter what it takes, no matter what it costs. All of our team is young. We're the youngest team in NFL right now. We're either the youngest or the second youngest. Therefore, we have to make this move. We have to invest in Earl Thomas. If we can make that happen, the only like I said, the only option is if we don't win the Super Bowl and we don't get Earl Thomas, everyone is going to say we didn't win the Super Bowl because we didn't make the Earl Thomas move. And the only way we can solidify that is making the Earl Thomas move, moving forward, and going for this Super Bowl. We've got to do it now. And our guys are young. We can do a 3-year contract with him. Think of how good Jordan Lewis, Xavier Woods, Chidobe Awuzie, think how good they will be 3 years from now if Earl Thomas is there coaching them from the quarterback perspective of the defense. That's what he does. That's exactly what he does. So this Seattle-based news group is talking so much trash. They don't even they're in love with Earl Thomas so much that the things they're saying don't even make sense. They don't understand why he's poking cattle with the stick, why he's saying these things to put him in a negative position. He's saying it because he wants them to let him go. He's going to get his money. He's going to get paid. There's only 2 teams that can pay him. Seattle can pay him under the current contract and just leave him there. If they rework his deal, they can't give him the money he wants. If they could, they would do it already. The other team that can pay him is the Dallas Cowboys. We have the money now. We have the money left over from Des Bryant. That money is still sitting there. We can make the Earl Thomas move. We could use the money from the Des Bryant situation, and we lose nothing. We actually gain a player. Next year, our salary cap goes up $10 million, and we can afford to keep him. It makes no sense not to do this. So let me go forward to the video again, guys. Here we go. Here.
He's out on the field and they can play cover one and he can chase things down from sideline to sideline and be that presence in the run game. It completely changes the dynamic of their team. The problem for me is I love Earl Thomas. I love him as a player. He just approached this the wrong way. I understand what you say, which a lot of people say when it comes to this.
He approached it the wrong way.
But when you're a professional,
he approached it the right way because he wants to leave.
Year in and year out.
He's interested in leaving.
Doing all those
so
things.
He's trying to piss them off to get out of his contract.
They're not looking at, well, he played hurt in this game.
He knows he's going to get paid in Dallas.
All they're looking at is a number. So when he goes out and he does all these things, it is personal. You are fully invested emotionally, physically, mentally.
He knows he'll
all
get paid
to that
in
football
Dallas.
Team. But at the same time, there's a way to approach.
There's a way to approach it, like he's saying. He's approaching it in the right way because he wants to leave. He knows he's going to get the salary. He knows he's going to get the contract, at least 3 years. The thing that he's doing is he's doing this so that Seattle will release him and let him go. He can go where he wants to be. He's either going to get a small pay raise in Seattle and stay there, or he's going to get the pay raise he wants and move to Dallas. So why not push the situation? Why not make it a situation where they have to release him? Because it'll get to the point, and it's already to that point. Seattle knows he's not going to be happy there, even if he gets the contract. I really think he won't be happy there because he wants to be in Dallas. And he pushed the situation. He's got his foot on the brake. He's not moving. He's not going anywhere. He's not pumping the brakes. He's got his foot on the brakes. Therefore, if the Seattle doesn't let this happen and give a decent trade or take a decent trade value for him and move forward, he's going to be a disgruntled employee, a disgruntled player, and it's not going to work. So as you guys can see, the Seattle-based station is completely got this backwards. They think he's saying these things and he's making mistakes and he's hurting his contract. Yes, with Seattle, he is hurting his contract with Seattle, but he doesn't want to be there. He's doing it on purpose.
Bullshit. Don't go up to Jason Garrett after a game in the locker room and tell him to trade for me. Come on. Don't call out Bobby Wagner for playing hurt at the end of the season. And when you sit here and saying that the Seahawks organization in this article have to honor your contract, you're the one not honoring the contract by not showing up to camp.
Well, do the teams honor their contract? No.
And you're right. Legion of Boom is gone. It is a new team. I mean, even though you still have Wilson and Wagner.
Oh, guys, come on. Come on.
That old regime. And even a part of that old regime that always questioned authority, even as they were winning. And may be tiring of Pete Carroll and the way he does things. May even be resentful from
as you guys know, there's some tension with the defense
right. So
and Pete Carroll.
I think they need to trade him. Now, the challenge is, we talked off the set, the challenge is you got to trade him to somebody that's also willing to give him a long-term contract. And so they don't want to inherit your problem that you have right now. But there are teams out there. I mean, I love him in Dallas. We're talking about the Giants maybe needing some.
Okay, got to pause it there because he threw in the damn Giants, and you know that ain't going to happen. The Giants don't have the money. There's one team that has the money. There's actually two teams. One team is Seattle. Seattle has the money to give him a slight increase, but they're not doing it. They're not doing it because that will hurt them in the future years. The only way Seattle can do it is to renegotiate his contract and what they call kick the can down the road. Move some money down the road and take money from future players and future draft picks is what it ends up doing. So that's the only way Seattle can re-sign Earl Thomas and give him that extension. The only other option they have is to let him play this year out at $8.5 million, and Earl Thomas is not willing to accept that. So the other situation is they get a trade for him, they move him to Dallas, he gets the money he wants, he goes. The problem is he's going to a team that Seattle does not want him to go to. You guys know how strong, how that would make cohesiveness in our defense completely different. I got to give a couple shout outs again. Hey, what's up, Senior Whitey? Senior Whitey, sorry. Yeah, Thomas would make the defense another, of course, man. That would make a big increase in our defense. What Earl Thomas, that type of position, gives you a quarterback. When you're a safety, you're in the back of the defense. You can see the defense in front of you. You can see the offense in the huddle. And what they actually do as soon as the play is over, when the offense is making their substitutions, Earl Thomas runs to the huddle and says, hey, they took out two tight ends. They put in a running back and another receiver. This is a no tight end setup. It's going to be pretty much a pass play. And the safety can come to the huddle with that information because he's in the position to see that. he's in the right place to witness all of these things. So, hey guys, can someone let me know if the Wi-Fi is working good? It's not rebooting or lagging or whatever that's called with the. I just want to know because the internet's been really bad here. That's why I haven't put out a video in a week. But he has so much information to bring to the huddle, and Jeff Heath is good at that, but he's not. He's nowhere. Okay. Hey, thanks, Senior Whitey. He's nowhere near what Earl Thomas is. That's one of the best things. Okay, thanks, brother. Appreciate it, Stevie. That is one of the biggest things Earl Thomas brings to the team. He's a leader. He's a quarterback. He is like the Peyton Manning of defense. He can see everything. He can make changes. He can all of those things he brings to the huddle, and he brings it with strength, and the guys respect him, especially with us having a young team. They're going to respect anything he says. So let me move forward the video. As you guys can see, this is, like I said, it's some of the guys have just chimed in. This is a Seattle-based group. Most of them are against what Earl Thomas is doing and him holding out, but you guys got to understand, contracts change. And he went on a 5-year deal. The 5-year deal he signed in the front was very good. He was the highest paid safety at that time. But now that he's 4 years into that contract, he's like the 7th or 8th highest paid safety in the league. So he's trying to say, hey, I want a longer deal. I want to get my money redone. And I will agree with some of the things they said. He got a lot of his money guaranteed up front. So when he got that money guaranteed up front, he got a lot of his payday on the initial signing of the contract. So that's why he's only making $8.5 million. So let's move forward to the video, and you guys will see the situation he's going through. Everyone in Seattle right now is hating on him for the most part, and that's making it even worse. I think he's playing this perfect. He wants out of Seattle. He's pushing the right buttons. He's saying the right things. He's the only thing is he's got to get Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones to make that move and come to Seattle strong and present them something. And this is probably a good time with Seattle being really pissed off with that letter that he put out. And he put that out to the executives, to the players, to the and it's pretty, it's pretty conclusive that he's saying he doesn't trust Seattle anymore. He doesn't trust their management or their executive team, and they're just treating players wrong. And he listed 2 or 3 players on the team that they've treated wrong, and he's not happy with it.
No, for free safety, I don't know if they want him long term, but he'd be a great fit there. So
he's talking about the Cowboys.
To trade maybe beef up the offensive line. I think they're becoming better on the offensive end. Yep. So I would look to trade him for offensive line help.
We just picked up an offensive lineman.
I couldn't agree with you more in terms
and a deep tackle.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? So your parents.
We just picked up 2 yesterday.
And the Seahawks are going to do him no favors and trying to find the best.
They are not
for him. Yeah, they got to trade him to somebody who's willing, for a 29-year-old who's dynamic, but to give him a new
There's
contract.
no one left.
There's a limited number of teams, especially now when teams are already in camp and they're going to convince themselves, you know what, we'll be okay. We don't need to move mountains for Earl Thomas.
One more thing real quick. As you guys know, the Tennessee Titans had an injury yesterday to one of their starting safeties. They're looking at Kenny Recaro and they're looking at Reed from San Francisco. The only 2 reasons these guys aren't signed already and aren't on a team is because they were kind of involved with the national anthem protest and kind of followed behind Kaepernick. So the fact that those 2 guys, Tennessee's only looking at them. I just watched a 15-minute interview about Tennessee looking for their safety, looking for a safety to replace the injured player that they've lost for the season, and Tennessee didn't even mention Earl Thomas. Obviously, because they don't have the money. No one has $12 million sitting in the bank right now, $13 million sitting in the bank right now to make a deal, except the Dallas Cowboys. That is money left over from us releasing Des Bryant and making some other moves that we did. Another thing is we signed DeMarcus Lawrence to the 1-year tender. That also saved us some money this year. Why are we saving money? For what reason are the Cowboys holding this money right now? I think there's only one reason they're holding that money, and that is the Cowboys they want to go get Earl Thomas, but they're waiting for the right time. And Earl Thomas is putting these notes out, putting these messages out, doing likes on Twitter, doing certain things on Instagram. As you guys know, I sent a message to Kayvon Frazier. I sent a message to Kayvon Frazier concerning his blood situation. He had a post on there, said something about, I hope I can see Kayvon Thomas next to each other on the field. That message I sent to Kayvon Frazier, I sent to Earl Thomas. Obviously, Kayvon Frazier sent it to him. It was just a picture in the post and the message, saying, hey, be nice to see Kayvon Frazier and Earl Thomas back to safety. Earl Thomas sent that back to me, and I actually joined Instagram just to send Earl Thomas some messages. I sent himself a couple messages. He's opened to my pictures. He hasn't replied. The only thing he has replied to me is he did send a picture back that I sent to Kayvon Frazier, which Kayvon Frazier sent to Earl Thomas, and then Earl Thomas sent it back to me. So that was really cool that I got kind of a response from him. Oh, man, I'm sorry, brother. Kristen Collington keeps buffering. Sorry, yeah, I'm in Afghanistan. I apologize. The internet here is not so great, so hopefully it'll pick up for you. I really apologize. I hope no one else is having trouble with the signal. But anyways, to move forward, that message got sent back to me. I think this is going to happen. I think it's inevitable. Earl Thomas has pushed the buttons. He's saying the wrong things. He's saying things completely backwards. He's for his contract and for Seattle. He wants out of there, and he's trying to rub Seattle raw and rub them the wrong way. And I think he's doing that. So let me move forward on the video. Here we go, guys.
Especially because of the Dallas.
This video is from earlier today.
And you write a piece. Even if you thought, hey, listen, I just want people to understand my perspective, where I'm coming from, you are sharing personal, family, team business with the public. You're out in the Seattle Seahawks. You're calling them cheap. You're essentially saying they're disloyal. Even if you got your facts completely crossed, the fact is that by going into Dallas's locker room and telling Jason Garrett to come get me, by going and doing this Players Tribune piece, he's done more damage than he has.
I agree with you, Steve. Yeah, he was released yesterday
within the confines of the front office.
Yeah, that's something I forgot to mention, guys. Yeah, Kayvon Frazier was released yesterday by the doctors to go back to practice. He actually practiced yesterday for a few hours. He didn't practice with the team. He kind of did some things on the side, and that's great that Kayvon Frazier is back. And I kind of thought maybe something would happen while that situation was kind of in the doctor's office, I guess you could say, while they were doing the evaluation. But yeah, Kayvon Frazier is been released for work, I guess you could say. He's been released to go back to practice, but they're taking it slow, bringing him back. Of course, they don't want to do anything crazy. Probably make a move, whether it's for ET or sign Reed or Recaro. Yeah, Stevie Mack, that was something I wasn't aware of earlier in the year. I was real hot on Kenny Vaccaro, and the reason I was hot on Kenny Vaccaro is because he has really good numbers. He tackles really well. He hits pretty good, and he's a ball hawk. He had four interceptions last year. Yeah, because of the national anthem. That's where I was going, Christine. Yeah, because of the national anthem, I think it's not a move Jerry Jones would make. And I think the Titans will pick up one of those. The Titans are going to pick up one of those two guys. They're in a dire need for a safety. I think the Cowboys are kind of riding it out to see how the safeties. What they're doing now, I think, is we're in practice. Practices are going well. They want to see how well guys are doing, how flexible and durable we are. Excuse me, at safety right now. So if that continues, I think we're going to wait longer and longer to do the Earl Thomas move. I think with Frazier coming back, that did put a delay on it as well. But I think it's inevitable. It's going to happen, especially if you watch this video start to finish without me stopping it every 10 seconds to say something. you'll see the Seattle base, the Seattle fans, they're pretty upset with him. They're saying, hey, you have a contract with us. You signed to work for our city. You signed to be here in Seattle, and you're not honoring your contract. It's a 5-year deal. And that deal 5 years ago put him the highest paid safety in the league. But that he's nowhere near the highest paid safety in the league, and he's probably, I would say, top 3. Him and Barry are probably top 2. That's the guy I think that really can compete with him. It's him and Barry. And if we don't make this move, again, I'm gonna say this. I said it really earlier. If we don't make this move and we don't win the Super Bowl, everyone is gonna say, why did we not go get Earl Thomas? If we would have got Earl Thomas, we would have won the Super Bowl. If we would have got Earl Thomas, we would have went another game deeper in the playoffs, or we would have been that much better, and we will be that much better. There's no way our team will be worse without Earl Thomas, other than if he sustains a serious injury and is out the whole season. So let me move forward on the video. It's really a good video, and I keep pausing.
Seahawks. What does he do now?
Now I think he's going to have to stick true to his word. He's going to have to hold out, because you can't put out a statement like this.
And that's the reason he put the statements out.
And then all of a sudden you turn to the page and then you're going to cross the picket line. He's got to stick true to his word now and see what's going to take place. The thing that you really think about also is that even with everything taking place, who was to say that the Seahawks weren't going to get a deal done? Who's to say that they couldn't work something out for the next 2 seasons to get bonus
want a deal done
upon his performance and play? You don't know that. But for the fact,
he started this last year going into the locker room.
Who he is as a football player, and
when he went into the locker room and started this situation, it was done. It was over. He wanted to leave. He wanted to go to the Cowboys. That was his preference. But when you do that, you put yourself in a situation where man, you got to think about it. If you work for a company, and I'm going to make it simple, if you work for 5 guys and you're with your boss at lunch and you're eating at In-N-Out Burger, and you go up to the counter and say, hey, I want a job, what the hell is your boss going to say? It's not going to go over well. So this is where they are. I know it's on a completely different level, but that's where we're at this point. He's burned his bridges in Seattle. He's burned his bridges on purpose. He blew the bridges up. He wants to leave. He's just waiting for Seattle to get pissed off enough to say, hey, shit, we'll take a 2nd round, or we'll take a 3rd round and an offensive lineman. And we picked up another offensive lineman yesterday. We had to cut 2 guys to do that. We picked up an offensive lineman and another D lineman, a defensive tackle, actually. So those guys were picked up yesterday. I don't recall the names, but we had to release 2 other positions to make that happen. One of them was a running back. I can't remember which running back we released. But anyways, we picked those guys up. We're really deep at those positions. Those are the positions. I'll tell you right now what Seattle needs. Seattle needs a backup quarterback. They do not have one at all whatsoever. Both of their backup quarterbacks are garbage, and Russell Wilson led them in rushing last year and was relatively injured a good part of the season because of the damn running around he was having to do, and the running of the ball, and their offensive line inability to protect him, and their receivers inability to get open. They have increased their receiving cores a little stronger. That's why I'm watching the Seattle news. The Seattle news is actually giving just as good, if not better, information than some of the Cowboy news. The Seattle news, if you go to the Seattle-based channels, they're giving good information on this because, and you'll see 90% of them are pissed at Earl Thomas. They think Earl Thomas needs to sign his contract and honor what he's doing and all these things, but it doesn't work that way. He signed that contract 5 years ago. 5 years ago in the NFL, as you guys know, 5 years ago in the NFL is shit. That's 20 years. I mean, 5 years ago is a long time. So he's working off of a contract 5 years ago, and he wants something new. He wants new evaluation for what he's done for the company. I can tell you this. The company I work for now, I've been here 7 years. When I got here, we were doing about $2 million in sales a month. Due to some of the things that our management did, myself did as the executive vice president, we moved from $2 million a month. We're doing close to $1 billion a year now. We went from $24 million a year to close to $1 billion in sales a year across Afghanistan, Africa, and Iraq. My boss gave me new contracts without even asking because of the production. The production was there, and that's where Seattle is. 5 years ago, the contracts for these safeties, the contracts for these players, the contracts for these players is different than it was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, the salary was 75% of what they're making now. So he warrants a new contract. He's done what he needs to do. He's looking out for his family. He wants to make sure the type player he is, he throws his body into car accidents every 30 seconds. He wants to make sure he doesn't get cut or he doesn't get released or he doesn't have to retire from an injury and he doesn't have that contract. He doesn't have that. He's looking for that guaranteed money again on a new contract. So this is where we are on the Seattle thing. This is almost the end of the video, guys. I want to finish it out because, like I said, this gives a perspective of Seattle, what they're talking, what they're saying, where they're coming from, and they're completely off the map. The reason they're off the map is he wants to leave. He doesn't want to be there. They're in a regression. They're in a recession. Seattle's going downhill. They're not. If he moves to the Cowboys with a young defense, he is solidifying his Hall of Fame status. He will be a Hall of Fame player if he comes to the Cowboys and finishes his career. If he stays in Seattle and the team regresses, goes into a recession, it's not going to finish his career well. It's not going to do well for him. It's not going to do well for his money. And Seattle's going to have to, even in the middle of, if they give him an extension, in the middle of his contract, they're going to have to reboot the whole thing. And they're going to think, why did we pay him that money? Because we need young players. They also said that they won't talk about someone not on Cowboys roster, but they are always looking to improve roster. They definitely want us. Hey, what's up, Caballero? 1152. We already have Heath and Xavier Woods starting. Kayvon is for depth. Yeah, but if you think about it, guys, we also have Marquez White, which can play a little safety. He's a big guy, but we've got that situation with him. Kayvon Frazier's back. He's been returned to duty. We'll see what happens, but I really think you guys, I think our safety core is probably mediocre or mediocre good to best. If you add Earl Thomas, you've gone from a mediocre safety core to an excellent safety core. And let's say we go into the first round of the playoffs and we lose, or we lose in the second round. I know some of the guys were on here earlier. I've already said this, but I'm quoting. I'm replying to Caballero. I'm trying to speak Spanish. My wife is Latina, so I should speak Spanish. But anyways, if we don't win the Super Bowl, everyone will say we would have won the Super Bowl if we had Earl Thomas. So this is another reason, as you guys know, it don't matter where you finish. You can finish in second place. You can finish in third place. You can get into the second round of the playoffs. If you don't win the Super Bowl, you lost. The season was done for no purpose. I hope I didn't just lose connection. Okay, guys, there we go. I think I had connection drop for a second. But you guys know, if you don't win the Super Bowl, your season was for nothing. So if we don't win the Super Bowl and we had a chance to get Earl Thomas, everyone is going to say if we whipped too much. So I think I went into it long enough, guys.
Turning him into,
let's finish the video here.
He just wants more money. That's not him as a person, but the way that he's handled it has turned it into that.
The one thing
he's handled it that way on purpose.
I think
he wants to leave. He's not. He doesn't want to be there.
Is disingenuous when players go with what their salary is for the season. As you pointed out, now
This is a very good point.
Value, but it was a front-loaded contract.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you get a big guaranteed signing bonus. I want it all
He did.
up front.
He got a lot of the money up front.
Now I want a new contract before the contract is up. When on one hand, NFL players are telling us we want guaranteed contracts. We want our guaranteed money locked in and set. And the Seahawks said, wait, we gave you the money up front. We guaranteed your deal. We didn't cut you before your contract was up.
Exactly, Whitey. That's what I'm saying.
Our end of the bargain, and you are not.
Xavier
I do
Woods
think that those of us
and Earl
who
Thomas
really
side
pay
by
attention to
side
it
with
and
Heath
don't look at the
and Frazier as
yearly
backups.
average instead of the
Oh my God,
yearly average for the entirety of the
completely
contract,
changes
really
our
spread
safety
out the deal.
position.
I just think it's a disingenuous way of telling us you're underpaid when the truth is you're probably overpaid if you want to play that game for the first 2 years of the deal.
I want to back
Thanks
that
for
up.
watching.
Hold on.
Subscribe here to
I
get the
want to
latest
back
from the
that
show.
up.
Also,
Listen to
Pay attention to it. And
listen to what he says. He's telling Earl Thomas, "You're overpaid. You got your money. You need to stay here." They're pissed. They're angry. He's even rubbed the fan base the wrong way. He's rubbed the executives. He's rubbed the team. He wants out of there. You think he's not doing it on purpose? Now on the backside, he's saying he wants to stay in Seattle if he can. He loves Seattle. You know, give me my money. But then he makes a letter. He puts these posts. He's liked a couple posts on Instagram. And Senior Whitey, just like you said, side by side, Earl Thomas next to Xavier Woods about Game 4. You give them a couple games to work together. Completely different defense than what we have right now. That would change the whole third level of our defense. It would change our receiving core, not our receiving core, excuse me, our defensive backs. Earl Thomas, he is a complete brain in the secondary, and he has the ability from his position to. It's kind of like the catcher in baseball. The catcher in baseball kind of does a lot of direction. Also, the center fielder does. The center fielder does a lot of direction in the outfield and talking to the second baseman and the shortstop. That's what the safety does. The safety is the quarterback of our defense. You got Sean Lee there, and you know Sean Lee runs the line. The hot boys, they call them, I guess. Sean Lee runs the hot boys and the linebackers, and Earl Thomas runs the secondary. And if you have him there coaching those guys up, reading the offense before the play is snapped, it's going to completely change everything. And for us not to make this move, if we don't and we get to the first round of the playoffs, or we miss the playoffs by one game, or we get to the championship game, no matter what happens, unless we win the Super Bowl, as much as this was talked about, everyone's going to say we did not win the Super Bowl because we didn't get Earl Thomas and our management wasn't aggressive enough and they didn't make it happen. We have the money sitting there. There's $14 million we still have in cap space for this year. There's no reason not to do it. So one more time, I want to play this last minute of the video, and you'll see how aggressive and how angry the Seattle fan base and the news media is. He's stating Earl Thomas needs to follow his contract. He paid up front. He signed a 5-year deal. He needs to honor that. And basically, he's saying he's an asshole for not doing that. So here we go.
And don't look at the yearly average instead of the yearly average for the entirety of the contract, which is really how you spread out the deal. I just think it's a disingenuous way of telling us you're underpaid when the truth is you're probably overpaid if you want to play that game for the first 2 years of the deal.
See, he's saying Earl Thomas was overpaid. You overpaid him. This is bullshit. You signed a contract. You need to honor your contract. It's not like it's different. It's not like he's a NFL commentator. Thomas will probably be in Dallas this year or next. Yeah, it could be next year. I hope not. I hope it's this year. We really need him this year. The reason I say that, James, is I think our team is going to grow a lot this year, with or without Earl Thomas. And I think our secondary especially is going to grow probably more than the rest of the team because they're young and we moved the guys around and we got Chris Richard there changing everything. I think it's best if we get Earl Thomas in there now and make the changes with him versus we make the changes this year. Then next year Earl Thomas comes in and we have to, move a player around, or a player that started and got a lot of playing time this year doesn't get that playing time next year. I think it's best we do it now. We make the move. There's an opportunity. There's aggression and aggressive things going over on the Seattle side. He's not happy. Seattle's not happy. The Cowboys want him, but we don't want to give up too much on the trade side. The money we have, it's not a fact of the money. Like I said, we have the money's sitting there. We can pay him, but Seattle is wanting to hurt us in the future too much. They're trying to take too many draft picks, or they're trying to take too high of a draft pick. So that's not working for our management team. We want our draft picks. To me, give up that draft pick. Our team is young. We are the youngest team, or the second youngest team in the NFL. I don't think we necessarily need those draft picks. If we had the draft tomorrow, somebody post, if we had the draft picks tomorrow, yeah, that's true. If we want to completely shut down Carson Wentz, I think we've done good moves at the corner position. I think we've done good moves at the linebacker position. LVE is a really, really good cover linebacker. He's going to help with the defensive backs, the tight ends, I apologize, and the defensive backs coming out of the secondary. He's really capable of helping in those areas. So I think that safety thing would really solidify. Hey, what's up, Hawk? And Williams, yeah, but they do need receivers. I would have no problem with that as well. Giving up Williams, I don't like T. Will anyway. He's always been the guy I kind of blame everything. When something happens with the Cowboys, I blame Terrence Williams. Shit, even the defensive end, and I blame Terrence Williams. And then when he wrecked his car, I really don't know how he got out of that situation. He wrecks his car, then he gets on an electric bicycle, drives down the street, drives back up the street, gets arrested. He could have got 2 DUIs that night, and he got. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, I've had some trouble with the Dallas police before, and I didn't get off so lucky. But Philly has double tight end sets, and yeah, and if you look back, James, really, Byron Jones did very well last year covering Philly's tight ends. Washington has a good group of tight ends with Davis, and I can't recall the other guy's name right now. Byron Jones did an amazing job shutting down tight ends last year. And I think with Leighton Vander Esch there, Jalen Smith being much healthier, and us having Byron Jones there, I know he's playing corner, but he can move over to cover tight ends when we have an aggressive tight end set from another team. So I think that's I think we need to do it now. Like I said, because we're young, we're moving forward. The secondary is going to grow so much this year. I would prefer them to grow with Earl Thomas there than him come in next year after his contract is finished. So exactly right, but we will need Thomas help over top and help. Yeah, he's oh my God, bro. He could be on the weak side. And there's plenty of video if you guys want to look into some of the Earl Thomas clips. There's plenty of times where he's on the weak side. I'm calling the weak side. If the run goes to the right side, Thomas will be the safety on the left. He'll make a play from the left side safety across the field through the defense, through the pulling guards that are pulling just can't pick him up. He's too quick. He is too fast, and he takes the thing is. He takes the best angles, and that's what you heard about Heath. That's what Xavier Woods has to learn, and he probably will. I think he'll learn that better than Heath. But where Heath hurts us, he takes bad angles sometimes, and when he takes the bad angles, you'll see he gets to the position where he can only clip at their ankles, and he'll clip at their ankles, and they're gone past him. And once you're gone past the safety, you're hoping the safety on that side is there to clean it up. If not, you have a 30, 40-yard gain. And this is the same on little passes out to the flats. This is the same on runs, jet sweeps out to either side. Earl Thomas gets there. He shuts it down no matter sideline to sideline, no matter where the ball is played, he never lets the play get past 10 yards. When you have a poor safety, when you have a safety that doesn't carry the right angles, he doesn't cover the right angles on certain plays, that's when you have the 30, 40, 50-yard gains that will turn a game around like that. And that never happens with Earl Thomas because he covers sideline to sideline and makes sure if a player gets into the third level, he doesn't get past the third level. Earl Thomas doesn't get beat, and that's what we need. We need a player where we know for a fact you'll never get a 30, 40-yard run or a 30, 40-yard jet sweep or a 30, 40-yard screenplay. And as you guys know, that's Ezekiel Elliott's forte. We've only done the passing game with him a few times, but Ezekiel Elliott excels in that. And we've only, as you guys, he had the 83-yard play against Pittsburgh, the short screen pass. We're going to be doing that a lot more this year. So would love to see Woods and Frazier out there rotating with Thomas. Yeah. Because our linebackers and D are capable. Yeah, I agree, man. Thomas, I think we've got two pretty decent safeties and Woods and Heath. I love Frazier as a hitter. Who I miss. I really miss J.J. Wilcox. That was a guy I like to watch. I called him Pop, J.J. Pop Wilcox, because when he hits you, your shoulder pads pop. And all the games I've been to, J.J. Wilcox, I don't know if he had some kind of devices in his shoulder pads or in his helmet, but when he hit you, it was a pop, and you would hear it. You would hear that in the stands. I had really good seats in the first row of the end zone, right there in the corner, and man, a hard-hitting safety really can pick your team up. And that's why I like J.J. Wilcox. He wasn't great on on coverage, but he could hit. He was an intimidator, and that's the thing. Earl Thomas gives you both of those. He can hit. He's an intimidator. You will never get a run or a screen pass over 10 yards because no matter where Earl Thomas is on the field, he's gonna get through linemen. He's gonna weave his way through the pulling linemen and make a tackle, and that's where other safeties and linebackers get in trouble. Those pulling guards, they just run towards them and run towards the play. He has a unique ability to weave through traffic. Let's say they can walk. Imagine Vander Esch, Lee, and Thomas. Yeah, bro, that's sick, man. I think when we were at the draft and they picked up Leighton Vander Esch, everybody kind of got upset, and I didn't know much about him, but I can tell you this: he's not near as good as if you watched the game last night. There was a linebacker from he was picked up in the third round, and it is his third year. He was picked up in the third round, had him, and he played for Boise State. And that guy was a beast last night against Chicago. He had one interception, he had a fumble strip sack, and he had another sack. And he almost recovered a fumble. I mean, that dude, Boise State, I don't know what it is. They have an ability to put out linebackers and defensive linemen. As you guys know, that's where DeMarcus Lawrence came from. D-Law was a Boise State guy, and it was one of the reasons that they went for Leighton Vander Esch, I think, is they did D-Law and him kind of had a rapport, and I think it's going to work out for us. And that D-line with Irving and Jones, yeah, man, Irving really has pissed me off. He played really well for the time he was there. He had the 4-game suspension last year. He had 4 games where he was injured. He played 8 games and had 7 sacks. That per game is the same amount of sacks That's the same amount of sacks that DeMarcus Lawrence had. So I really think Jahad played much better than when he did with Oakland. He was in the wrong system in Oakland. They had him playing in the wrong position. He's built exactly like Irvin. If you take a silhouette of those guys, Irving and Jahad Ward are the same big strength. They're identical. So I really think he's a good fit. If we have Jahad Ward, Irving, oh my God, bro, Jahad Ward, Irving, Randy Gregory, and DeMarcus Lawrence on the line, that right there might be the best defensive line in the NFL. I'll say it again: DeMarcus Lawrence, Irving, Jahad Ward, and Randy Gregory, and you got Malik Collins, and you still have what's the other one? There's one more we have. Coney Ely is supposed to be playing amazing as well. He's really quick. He's really fast. We really have guys in the right position. Things are going good. Man, we just need to. And Taco, that's who it was. Thank you. Thanks, Hawk. I was trying to think of who it was, but Taco Charlton really didn't play a lot last year. He didn't get a lot of playing time because of the success the rest of our line was having. He never got an opportunity. Man, we have the opportunity to rotate those 7 defensive linemen in and out, keep them fresh. If there's injuries, don't say if there's injuries, we don't care. But if there's injuries, we have a rotation, man, that is going to be sick. The problem is, if you guys remember, we had trouble rotating defensive linemen out, and that was something we were really aggressive with last year and the year before, and we would get caught trying to rotate our defense in, and the offense would go into a quick snap situation and get us caught with 12 players on the field, or get us caught where players were running onto the field and weren't sure of what was going on. So that's the problem with going with this quick rotation on the defense. We have the guys to do it, but it's kind of difficult to do it if the offense knows you're going to rotate these defensive guys out and rotate them and rotate them and rotate them, and they continue to, let's go to quick snap. They'll go to the huddle, and then they'll come back, and then the next play they'll go to a quick snap because they see you rotating guys out. So that does make it difficult to get your 7-guy rotation going in. You kind of got to get them out there and leave them. But I don't know. We'll see, guys. Like I said, I jumped in to do this Earl Thomas thing. I really appreciate really appreciate the feedback. If you guys please subscribe to the channel, I'm going to move forward. We should have the draft, we should have practice at Oxnard starting up here pretty shortly. It is 1 a.m. here in Afghanistan. And so, yeah, man, we really got a strong defense. I think there's one position where we need help, and that's kind of, I'll say one position, but it's kind of in the secondary. I'm expecting big things from Taco too there, Hawk. I think he has the ability. He just didn't get the time. I think he's hungry, and you guys got to think about that. When you have a competition going, and they keep talking about competition, when you have a competition going with players that are aggressive and hungry and young, these are young guys. All of these guys are young. So, you know, the D-line is calling themselves the Hot Boys. It looks like they're having a good time and fun with it. Hot Boys is a little, I don't know, maybe they're going to sing and dance before the game. Maybe the Hot Boys will do the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Maybe like the Hot Boys and Justin Timberlake at halftime at the Super Bowl. That'd be cool. They just can't do it if we're playing in the Super Bowl. So we'll see. I'm super excited about the season. I was so happy to have football last night. I couldn't sleep. The game started here at 4:30 in the morning, and I stayed awake all night to watch the football game. So, yeah, yeah, I'm with you, Stevie. I don't know. I tried to come up with a name. I tried to come up with a name. For some reason, I kept sticking with something like something in the box, you know, because they're the guys in the box, 8 in the box or 7 in the box, or not. That was a name, but Hot Boys in the box. Hot Boys. I don't know, bro. I can't think of a dime. Doomsday, was used. Legion of Doom. Everybody's saying that doesn't work unless uh, yeah, I agree with you there. I'm glad Chris Richard is here. Hopefully he'll make some changes in the secondary. It looks like he solidified some positions, and he told some guys, hey, you're going to play corner and you're going to learn it. And you're going to play slot, and that's where you're at, and that's where you're going to be. And so I'm trying to get let me see, does that work? Hey, yeah, there we go. All right, sorry guys, I clicked on something and sent those little emojis there. But yeah, I'm glad Chris Richard is there. That's a big upgrade for us. I think that will also I think has a big deal to do with Earl Thomas sitting out and not signing something. I'm hoping Seattle gives him an offer, and it's an offer that he doesn't like, and he gets frustrated and says, hey man, just get me out of here. I'm not taking anything you guys offer. I want out, and if he just tells them that, they could hold him to it. But that's one thing I don't know. Does he count against their roster? Does anyone know that? If he holds out, do they only get 52 players on the active roster, or do they have to hold him on the roster, or do they can't? Because I know if you put him on the practice squad, anyone can pick him up. So I'm not sure how that works. But if he does hold out, I don't know if he counts toward the regular roster. That might be something. If one of you guys out there know, if you could throw it in the comment box. They don't even account for the fact that 9-7 at half against Philly of their first half. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know, bro. We had a horrible season last year at 9-7, and most teams at 9-7 would be pretty happy. And as you guys know, we're not happy at 9-7 because we should have been a lot better than that. Our team was better. We should have had a better record, and that's just a fact. Yeah, Ezekiel Elliott was gone. If you guys want to look at some of my old videos that I put out a couple weeks ago, one of the big things, we went 4-1 on the last 5 games, and the only game we lost was to Seattle. And that Seattle game, we only gave up like 180 yards complete for the whole game. We gave up like 40 yards rushing and like 130 yards passing. I mean, our defense was amazing, but Dak Prescott had a pick six and Dez Bryant had a fumble on the 40, which was really the only time Seattle moved the ball. They took the ball from the 40 into the end zone. So we really, those last 5 games, we went 5-0 if you take away the 2 plays where we just basically gave them 2 touchdowns. And as you guys know, also on one of my previous videos, during the first 3 games, Ezekiel Elliott was gone. We scored 7 points, 9 points, and 6 points. In 3 games, we scored 25 points in 3 games. 9-7 is 16. We scored 20 points in 3 games. So that Ezekiel Elliott situation really hurt us. Not having Tyron Smith really hurt us. Not having Sean Lee, as you guys know, we went 1-5 without Sean Lee. Sean Lee got hurt early in one of the games, so some people don't count that, but we lost that game he got hurt in early as well. So, there's a lot of factors that went into last year. If you can't say, hey, we're going to be healthy every year. That just doesn't happen. It's impossible to just, stay healthy every year. This is football. It's a physical sport. So we're going to have those situations. We're going to have those. What we need is the depth, and that's what the Cowboys went to. That's what part of releasing Dez Bryant was. It assured us some money to be young and, have depth. And if you guys look, players in their first 5 years, they don't get paid very much. After their 5th year, that is when the contracts open up to they can get paid what they want. There's no restrictions on salary. There's no restrictions on contract. There's no restrictions on salary cap or guaranteed money. That's why when you're young, you're cheap. But a lot of times it doesn't work out for you being young. It doesn't give you that experience. It doesn't give you those quality players. So I think we're all put together, guys. I think we're straight. Training camp, Oxnard is starting shortly, so I'm going to jump off. I want to say thanks to you guys all for joining in. I have a great time. I know this is more talk about Earl Thomas, but really this has got to happen. This is the one thing that could take us from, a 10-6 team or 11-5 team to a 11-5 team or a 13-3 team again. Or shit, man, we could go 15-1, but once you get to those playoffs, as you guys know, it only takes a play. You could be 15-1, you could be 13-3, you could be whatever your record. But when you get into the playoffs, every team is going to be tough. Your kicker has to make field goals. He can't miss field goals. And your defense cannot give up big plays, and you can't have turnovers. We don't turn the ball over that much. Dak is safe with the ball. He keeps it between the hashes. He doesn't like to throw out wide too much. So we play safe. We use our kicker. We use Ezekiel Elliott. Earl Thomas could really help us. He's 5 to 6 points every game. He could swing a game 5 or 6 points easily. So I appreciate it, guys. Enjoy your time out there. Watch the Cowboys. We got 1 week left. It was so awesome watching Chicago and Baltimore last night. I mean, I'm a straight diehard Cowboys fan, but watching football, talking football is just amazing. And last night was like, I don't know if you got anybody out there's been deployed. It was like coming home from a deployment and sitting down at your favorite meal or your favorite restaurant and I mean, that's what last night, just having Chicago and Baltimore play, and really not a big deal, not a game I cared about, but still was amazing to watch. And I'm so happy football season is here. See you guys on the future videos. You'll probably see me doing live videos because I'm having trouble downloading. It looks like the live videos are working, so I'm going to continue doing those. And I appreciate it, guys. Thanks, James, for joining in. Thanks, Steve. Let me see what Steve had to say real quick. I'm glad everyone is overlooking us. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're being overlooked a little bit right now, and we'll see where it goes. But I think we're much better because we were 9-7. Steve, the reason they're overlooking us, we were 9-7 last year, but some of these analysts and some of these guys on TV, they analyze all the teams. They don't have time to spend 40 hours a week watching the Cowboys like we do. They watch the Cowboys for a couple hours, they watch some other things, and then they see Des Bryant left and we don't have Jason Witten anymore, and they say, oh, those stupid Cowboys, they're going to be horrible this year. They went 9-7 last year and they lost Jason Witten and they lost Des Bryant and they have no receivers and they have no this and that. Yeah, just wait. They have no clue, guys. We're going to be really strong this year. We're going to be an amazing football team. We're going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch Ezekiel Elliott bust that ass, and nobody can stop it because the longer the game goes, the stronger those guys up front get. We're nothing but we're like that train going down the track at like miles an hour. You can't stop it, and that's what it's like going to be watching our run game, and it's going to frustrate teams. And our defensive line is going to get in there. They're going to pressure guys, and pressuring guys, like I said earlier, I think putting pressure on the quarterback sometimes is better than getting a sack because you cause him to make hasty, quick decisions. He makes bad throws. I think our secondary is going to get a shitload of interceptions this year. I think our defensive line is going to for every sack you get, normally you get 2 rushes or 2 hurries on the quarterback, or you get, a hit and a half, or, the quarterback gets hit at least twice for every sack he gets. Every time he gets sacked, he gets hit a couple times. Those hits cause big time rushes and hurries, and it causes turnovers, it causes interceptions. Of course, sacks cause fumbles. But when you don't get the sack, a lot of the time the quarterback makes a quick decision on the throw, and it doesn't work out. But I want to say thanks to Lincoln Hawk, James, Stevie Mack. Where we at, guys? Oh, that was. Yeah, that's most of you guys in here, and we're growing every day. It's getting better. I appreciate it. Wanted to say thanks, guys. Any last thoughts? Go ahead and hit me up. I'm about to. Yes, Bo Scarborough. I can't wait to see him. This is the one thing. If you guys want, I can stay on a little longer. We didn't talk about Rico Gathers. Rico Gathers is, and I think the Cowboys are making a mistake. Either one thing, they're yeah. Hey, what's up? And you, yeah. No, I'm sorry, Whitey. My bad, bro. Of course. Shout out to Senior Whitey. My bad. Man, Rico Gathers. I was gonna close it, but I gotta stop and talk about Rico, man. I really think he has the possibility to be a big playmaker. I think so. I think so, Hawk. Man, they give Rico an opportunity. If they don't give him an opportunity, he's gonna get picked up so fucking fast, bro. I'm telling you, he's gonna get picked up so fast. He played 2 games for us the year before, as you guys know. He played 2 games for us. He had 10 targets, 7 catches, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Those stats are better than Swain has over 3 fucking years. I'm sorry I'm cussing, but it's really pissing me off, this thing with Rico Gathers, and he can't block and he can't. I watched the game last night. If you guys watched the game last night, the Ravens, they picked up Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst was their number 1 draft pick. They picked him up on the 19th pick. He was picked before we picked up Leighton Vander Esch. This guy was a baseball player that played baseball for a couple years in Pittsburgh. Apparently what happened is he hit a guy in the head with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And when he hit this guy in the head with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, he kind of lost his confidence. Used to work with technique for sure. Hey, what's up, Akers? What's up, brother? I've been looking for you, man. I don't know where you've been. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm sorry, my channel's been down. I've had trouble with the internet. That's why I've been having to do live. But Will McClay, interview said they aren't cutting Rico. Hey, James, I hope so. They better carry 4 tight ends. If they don't carry 4 tight ends, the thing is, Rico's a different animal. We got 3 tight ends that are relatively the same. Some of them, I know Jarwin is supposed to be a little more well-rounded and supposed to have the complete package. Sometimes you don't need the complete package. When you have a play where you need 20 yards, you're going to need Rico on the field. When it's 3rd and 20 because we had a holding penalty on 1st down, and on 2nd down we ran the ball, or we had an incomplete pass on 2nd down, and now it's 3rd and 20, you're going to want Rico on the field. I can promise you. He's going to be the first person they're going to, damn, I wish Rico was here. We got a 3rd and 20. You don't have very many players you can go to in that situation, and I think he's one of them. He gets yards after the catch. Like I said, he had 2 games. He had 10 targets, 7 catches, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Those stats are better than Swain has in 3 freaking years. So I have no clue why they're not jumping on the Rico bandwagon. Excuse me. What did Lincoln say? You're agreeing with Ake? Let me jump back and see what it is. Let me check it real quick, guys. Lincoln, I'm amazed. Zeke, Bo, Rico, red zone. Yeah, bro. Red zone threat. Also, I agree, Lincoln. I agree, Akers. Red zone threat. We got to have Rico. We only have, really, to me, possibly 2 playmakers on the team if you don't count Rico, and that's Tavon Austin. I think he has the ability to do some 20-plus yard plays, and and Ezekiel Elliott, and that's our running back, and he's only a playmaker because he might break a long run or he might break a screen pass, for 60, 70, 80 yards. But who else do we have at this point that we know? And I think, both of Rico's touchdowns were over 20 yards. And he just looks like a player. I don't think, he needs to be out there, all the time, maybe consistently, but there's going to be plays where, not Hail Mary situations, but plays where you get in a situation, it's 2nd and 15, or it's 3rd and 12, or it's 3rd and long, or 2nd and long, or even 1st and long, and you put Rico out there because you're not running the ball. It's going to be pretty much obvious you're not running the ball. So I don't understand. The Baltimore did it. Last night you saw Hayden Hurst had an amazing game, and that's what they critique him for. He's been critiqued for his blocking. He's been critiqued for his route running. But he was the first overall picked tight end in the draft. So it makes no sense to me why the Cowboys, I know we're a running team, but they dog out Rico, they dog out Rico, they dog out Rico on certain things that I don't think he has to do every play. He doesn't have to block every play. How many receivers do we have that block or that are amazing at blocking? We have a really small receiving core right now that's probably not too good at blocking. That could hurt Ezekiel Elliott on these 50, 60-yard runs that we need him to get at least once a game. Yeah, they talked about moving Rico to wide receiver. The problem with that is they say he's had trouble learning the tight end position, and the tight end position is much harder to learn than the wide receiver. The tight end, one thing about the tight end has to learn a lot about blocking schemes, not just blocking. If you guys watch, not a lot of times, as you guys know, you don't block the guy in front of you. A lot of times it depends on what the defense does. If they stunt, if Rico's supposed to block the guy in front of him, but there's a stunt or the linebacker comes around and the defensive end falls off into coverage, and that happens sometimes, that's where Rico has his problems. He has trouble picking that up. He has trouble picking up the fact that the defensive end is dropping into coverage, the linebacker's coming, and he starts to follow the defensive end, and now the linebackers went across his left shoulder. That's where the problem is. You have to be really smart. You have to pick up the right block, not just blocking in general. It's not like a blocking drill where you go one-on-one, and Rico does fine with those things. The problem is blocking schemes. When the defense changes or they shift around or they stunt, or those are the things. Yeah, very technical with blocking and route running and knowing the offense. Also study defense film. Yeah, exactly. They say tight end is the second hardest position to learn on the offense behind the quarterback. It's the quarterback and pretty much the tight end because you're actually like an outside tackle. There's a lot of movement out there on the end. And as you guys know, that's where you get most of your sacks from. You get most of your sacks from your edge rushers. So those tight ends really have to know what the edge rushers are doing, what the defensive linemen are doing, the pulls, the traps, the punts. They have to pick all of that up, and they have to see it as it happens. Because if they don't pick that up, you're going to have a defensive end or linebacker going straight to your quarterback without anyone there. So I understand their situation with that, but where you counter that is you use Rico on pass plays, and you're going to have that situation at least 6 to 8 times a game where pretty much know it's a pass play. So that's where we stand, guys. I hope Rico can make it. I think he's a phenomenon when it comes to an athlete and his ability. He has really good hands. I know some people have talked about his hands, but I'm going to tell you his hands are fine. I know that for a fact. He's a basketball player. Basketball players pride themselves on good hands. Hey, what's up, Cowboys? Hey, you got here a little late, brother. It's about an hour and 15 into the live stream. I'm about wrapping it up, but if you want to go back, watch the live stream again. I think it went really well. We had a lot of good input from the fan base there. Cowboy fans, not my fans. We're all here. We're all Cowboy fans. I'm just providing a little place for us to. Oh, there you go. Yeah, You're working at the. I think you mentioned to me where you worked before. At the at a water plant or something like that. Anyways, I'm at work too. I'm here at the Kabul airport, so you wouldn't want Rico playing receiver. Tight end is a mismatch for teams. Yeah. Pest control. Oh, okay. That's what my nephew does. My nephew takes care of the house at home. So I appreciate it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hey, please, Cowboys fans, go back and watch the video from the start. It really, really was a good video. This was a video from a Seattle-based channel. They went over a lot of things. Yeah, making him a wide receiver, he doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have now in the red zone. Yeah, line him up, dude. You want a team to call a timeout? Line Rico Gathers up at the X position in the red zone. Put him out wide and see if they don't call a timeout. I guarantee you line up Rico at wide receiver in the red zone, they're gonna timeout. There's no way if you line him up in the red zone at the let's say the 7 or 10 yard line on 3rd and goal, you line him up at the X position wide, they're gonna call a timeout. So yeah, red zone all freaking day, dude. And that's what we had trouble with last year. You look at some of the games, you look at the games where Ezekiel Elliott was missing. We keep starting over, guys, but I'm having fun. It's football season. I'm happy. You look at the games where Ezekiel Elliott was gone, we still had progress. We still moved the ball. We still put yards up on the stat board, but we had trouble inside the 20 getting the ball into the end zone. We had trouble inside the 10 getting the ball into the end zone. You could slow Rico down at receiver with safety help over the top. He isn't fast enough to play receiver, and yet he can't learn. It's fast enough. Yeah, like other positions, we have tried to change people. Yeah, we keep changing people around instead of letting them learn something. I agree. And like you said, they're going to put a safety over the top. But as you guys know, if Rico's drawing a double team, especially leaving from the tight end position or like the slot position, he's going to draw double team, especially if he runs that seam route right up the middle, which is what he scored the touchdown on with the pass from Cooper Rush. There was no stopping him. If you guys look at Gronkowski, that's exactly what Gronk does. When you run that seam route, the defense doesn't have time to set their feet and jump and leap for the ball. So really on those seam routes, all you have is a safety helping you, or you have one-on-one with a linebacker or one-on-one with a safety, and he's going to win that every time. Understand their situation. So I think they're just completely focused on this run game, and they don't care if they pass the ball 3 or 4 times a game is all they give them about, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but I don't understand them downplaying Rico unless they're doing it for 2 reasons. They're downplaying him so defensive don't game plan for him, which I don't know. That seems a little childish, but yes, they would have to call a timeout. Yeah, yeah, they would have to call a timeout if they lined up Rico out wide from the 10-yard line, the 7-yard line on 3rd and goal or 2nd and goal. Automatically, that corner is going to be out there on 6'8" Rico Gathers, and he is 6'8". I can assure you that. You can look back at his Baylor times, all of the books, all the stats from Baylor. It says 6'8", 6'7". It has him listed a couple places at 6'7". Cowboys have him listed at 6'6". He's not 6'6". But yeah, you line him up out there, and I can promise you that corner is going to be yelling and waving and trying to call a safety over, and like the coach, whoever's over there on corner, is the coach will call a timeout for that. With receivers, you need Rico running tight end. Yeah, I think keep him at tight end, and we have a lot of plays where we lined up Jason Witten a little bit wide, almost like in the slot, and that would be Rico's. When you line him up there, it's very unlikely that you're going to have a player rush or blitz from that position. I mean, it does happen, and Rico's big enough. If the guy in front of him, if Rico sees that guy shooting for the quarterback, all he has to do is chip him. He's strong enough and big enough. He should be able to chip the guy and chip an out, 5 and out. Those things are said, as you guys know, by the quarterbacks. If the receivers watch and the tight ends watch, if there's a blitz coming, they change their route. So Gallup, best receiver in the draft, just slipped. Yeah, a lot had him higher in the draft, so I like Gallup as well. But I really appreciate it, guys. I'm going to cut this off real quick. My sell is Rico Gathers. We need Rico to play. We need him to get a little attention in the preseason. Like I said, his stats in 2 games equal what Swaim has done in 3 years. So I don't understand this shit with Jason Garrett. I do have some faith in Jason Garrett, but I don't understand the Rico. Some people are saying it's because Rico and Des Bryant are pretty close. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if they would hold that against him. That seems kind of ridiculous to me. But we'll see, guys. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I love doing this. I want to grow the fan base. This was actually my first live stream that went really well. We got some good feedback, and I appreciate all the comments, James and Mac, and all the guys I said out there. Akers, it was nice seeing you, bro. I know you got in a little late. And Cowboys Face, appreciate it, bro. All you guys, I really appreciate the time, and again, I don't do that PANA, whatever that money thing is. I don't have a problem with that. The guys that do it, they do it. I'm doing my channel from here. I just do it for fun, and I want to have fans here. Not fans for me, like I said, Cowboy fans here, something to talk about, because from week to week, when we turn that game off, when we turn that TV off on Sunday, man, it's a long time until the Cowboys play again. A week is a long time, and I need people to talk to. I need friends to enjoy my Cowboy news and stuff like that. Appreciate it, James, Lincoln, Hawk, Cowboy Face, Hulk. If you're still on there, Hulk, Akers, no problem, brother. Watch it, and like I said, I really enjoy talking to you guys, man. Over here in Afghanistan, I'm by myself, and it gives me something to do. I don't have the Patreon. That's what it's called. I don't have Patreon or all those things. Those guys that have it, I support them. I support Okoye is one of the best. As you guys know, Joe Boo, Mark Holmes, I probably message him about 10 times a day. We talk all the time. So I'm here just to talk Cowboy stuff. And as you guys know, Sunday to Sunday, we need to talk to each other because I don't like watching this ESPN shit, man. They're garbage. They say stuff just to get you to turn the channel on. You got Stephen A. Smith on there talking trash and garbage. He don't know what he's talking about. Those guys watch the Cowboys 1 week a year. I mean, 1 week, an hour a week. We watch the Cowboys 24/7. We look at all of those things. Yeah, it's fake news. I think it's garbage, and I'm tired of watching it. I turn ESPN on. I'll leave it on NFL Network. NFL Network does a pretty good job, but that's because they play old games and they have those things. I just can't watch ESPN and then talking about, we have the 30th, that they had our offense ranked 30th in NFL. Come on, man. What the hell is that? 30th. They have, they're always doing shit to piss us off. And they have to talk about the Cowboys, because if they don't, their ratings. Exactly, James. Ratings. ESPN is ridiculous. They do it for ratings. So, yeah. I used to watch that show, man. But anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Cowboy Crunk from Kabul, Afghanistan, here in the airport. I'm safe. I'm sound. I got a lot of security here. The bomb was out there last week when the vice president was here. It rocked the building. I got actually some shingles fell here in the building. So, but I'm in a safe spot. They can't get inside where I'm at, bro. Believe me, I got security. And everywhere I go in an up armored vehicle. So I'll get you guys some videos if you want. Put in the comment section some videos from the city. Sometimes I go to the city, I go to the embassy and hang out there. But love you guys. Appreciate you for joining the channel. And we'll catch you up on the next video. Thanks, guys. And boom.